nerds, welcome back to the Hot Nerd Network, your ultimate destination for exploring the rich tapestry of diverse personalities from the real world to Oz. We're thrilled to have you here today as we dive into the magical, complex, and wonderfully green world of Wicked. And today we're going to be exploring everything from the movie's standout performances to its themes of friendship, ambition, and identity. Plus, we'll sprinkle in some fun personality archetype discussions and games to keep things exciting. So grab your broomsticks and settle in. This is going to be a thrilling ride through Oz. And I couldn't do any of this alone today without my wonderful mom. Hey, Hot Nerd Cheryl.
Hey.
Excited to get started.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Let's talk music. Defy Gravity is one of the most iconic songs from Wicked, and its themes of self-identity and breaking free resonate deeply with fans. So let's dissect this anthem and others and, pick a few standout tracks to see how they elevate the story. Ma, in pre-recording, you were actually talking about another song. I think that we should start there. What are your favorite songs from the movie?
Popular. I make you popular. I don't know if I'm saying the right words, but I love that whole scene. It was just so cute. I told you I may be liking the bad person, the wicked witch, but she is so adorable. And I just love, first of all, I don't know. Maybe people do give her credit. Ariana Grande can sing.
Sang.
Girl got some pipes on. And I just love, she's just a powerhouse to me. And I loved how they complement each other. They do complement each other well. Um, but in either way, I love just all of her songs, all of what she's saying. But that little popular song to me was one of my favorites. I'm so excited to see that scene again today.
Yeah, it was a longer scene. Like it goes on, but it's so fun. As a performer, I really as a former theater kid, I really do resonate with just the performance, the pizzazz of Galinda. She's so like she takes her breath and she even if no one's watching, she's performing. That's the commitment that she has, and especially when people are watching, she's performing. It's like it's just so fun to watch. It's one of the reasons why I actually love Beyonce, because she commits to the performance. She commits to the bit, and Galinda and via Ariana Grande committed to that song. And just the way that she plays with her voice in that song, and even the words, it's like it's still telling a story. Not to submit some Moana piece here, I did go see Moana 2 last night, and while it's great, please everybody go see Moana, the storyline is what carries it. The songs were so. And one thing that Wicked has going for it is that I did not get tired of any of the songs. I think the only song that I was kind of like, all right, this is kind of going on for a little long, was Dancing Through Life. But I think that was more so because they were just treating the books so bad. Every single time they stepped on the books, I was like, no! Even if they're fake books, it's not how you treat them. Stop throwing them around.
That's your librarian coming out of you. No, I love that song, and that was Fiero's song, and he did that so well. Jonathan Bailey, he did that. That was beautiful. And as you go back and look at, because I've been watching like every
Video.
interview and all the YouTubes and all the different things, and the work that went into doing that scene it was a lot. And they did that scene. They had to do things like in one take because of the danger. Well, a lot of the stuff that they did was very dangerous, and the props that they fixed up. So yeah, even though the books were fake, they were fake. They weren't real.
Y'all, this is not, as the librarian in me, you don't just dance through life without some books, okay? Felt like a big propaganda for banning books and stuff. I was like, no, but
It
no,
was not. It was just it was happiness of just we're dancing through life and they just happened to be in the library. It wasn't
taking out
bad.
the library.
Goodness.
But no, I love Popular. That's so fun. I love the Pink. I love the Linda. She just, yes, she's so fun. Um, but no, I mean, I want to end with Defying Gravity. I have a lot of thoughts there. I have
But wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You have to you can't lose this. That's why I had to go pull it up.
I was gonna say, bring us some other heavy hitters.
I'm that girl.
Oh yes,
Girl was one of the powerhouse. I just think that there are songs that people aren't thinking of, or not that aren't being highlighted.
yeah.
I'm that girl to me was just a very that she sang that song, I think, after she realized that she was attracted to Fierro. And she was like, I'm
Mm.
that girl. I'm not basically I'm not his girl. The song is all
I'm
about
not that girl. I'm not that girl.
I'm not that girl. Yes, I'm not that girl. I am not who
Fiera was.
wants or what she thinks Fierro sees.
Yeah,
What she thinks Fierro wants. Fierro's questioning what he wants,
yeah.
after that too, because he had the same vibe. They had the same chemistry. So
Okay.
I just really I love that song. I think that song is very important and we have to mention it.
We do. I'm trying to see was okay. I'm not that girl was also in the original musical too, and
Yes,
so
it was.
was
Mhm,
Popular. And so was Dancing Through Life for sure. I'm not
mhm.
that girl. I think that's such a poignant song just for what happens in part two. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I mean, I think we can kind of already see that Elphaba is kind of the girl. Actually, no, we did. That's not even a spoiler. He gives her the flower at the end, and I think it's like funny because it does call. That's why I say the songs were so good. They actually play into the story. It's like if you do, I love in musicals where if you took out the song, you would be missing very important parts of the story. And I think that is one of them. And they really hone back into that in the movie where it's like she's saying I'm not that girl, but by the very end of this, even part one movie, we see she is actually that
Is
girl
that
for
girl.
her.
She is that girl. The
Mhm.
other one is what is this feeling when they were identifying that they really cared for each other. Like, oh my goodness, I'm starting to feel for this person.
Yeah.
So those were my four songs, popular. Well, really, I guess five. It was popular, dancing through life, I'm not that girl, and what is this feeling. I mean, I like them all, and then define gravity. I like them all, don't get me wrong, but those songs pop out to me because of different reasons for the movie.
I agree. I do think though one song you didn't mention that really is probably one of my top three is No One Mourns the Wicked. Starting that movie off
Oh
that
my,
way and then
yeah.
having the chords of No One Mourns the Wicked, even in Defying Gravity when it first starts up, and it's just so powerful. Like there's certain songs that will always give me chills. I have chills thinking about it literally just right now. There's certain songs and certain musicals that will always give me chills because there's a pain there that you can just hear and that you know to be true and you know to be untrue. And
Mhm.
that's why I love musicals. I actually get that same feeling. I was listening to my vinyl record yesterday of the West Side Story, because I feel very resonant to that right now.
Mhm.
Um, and particularly the scene in West Side Story, the song where Maria and why am I blanking on um, the girl who sings America? What's her
Oh,
name?
Rita.
Anya?
I can't think of the name in the show, but she was the girlfriend of Maria's brother. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
have to
Mhm.
I have to honor her name though.
Well, the actress is Rita Moreno, but
Yeah, Rita Marino. What the heck is her name?
let me go to entertainment. I need to go to IMDb,
Mm-hmm.
West Side Story.
Story characters.
I can't remember anything anymore.
Right? Isn't that so? So terrible.
You're too young for that. Let me see.
Ariana is the no, that's the actress who played her in the new one.
Um, it was Anita. Anita
Anita.
was the character. Yeah, Anita.
Anita and Maria, when they're singing back and forth toward each other after Bernardo gets killed, and
Oh,
Maria's like,
yes,
"A
yes,
boy like that will kill a
yes.
brother." Da, 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 da. No, go find another one of your own kind. Stick to your own kind. It's like an actual fighting, and like like the Maria comes in with her gusto of like pure optimism. That's not me. That's not me. That's not Tony. And then she finally brings Anita to her side at the end of this. That's how I feel. That the chills I feel in that song, it connects to how I feel with No One Mourns the Wicked, because when they're talking about the wicked, it's like, you know, that the society is just so wrong. But you're right. We don't mourn who we cast off as the wicked. That's why, you know, just even with cancel culture and how large it is, it's like when you can taint someone's reputation and just turn it all to bad through propaganda, it's such a it's such a poignant thing. It's so salacious. It's so that's why, you know, there is a crime for libel, because truly no one does mourn the wicked, and it's just such a crime against humanity, because right now no one is mourning Elphaba, or I mean, who was suggested to be her sister at the beginning of the movie, you know. So I that is one of my favorite songs. It gives me the same feelings as that song for West Side Story.
No, I get you. I love that. You know, I gave you that love for musicals. I have to
You
say,
did, you
love
did.
musicals. But yeah, things give me chills. So no, I agree with you. I'm still learning this. I unfortunately, one of the musicals I didn't get to see on Broadway was Wicked, and which is so strange is The Wiz. I wish I could have seen both of those on Broadway. Not that it's too late because The Wiz is back on Broadway, but I don't know the story
Yeah.
as well. I know The Wiz, but I don't know this story as well to really speak to it. That song, you're absolutely right. I cannot take that off the list. It's very powerful. It's actually the first song on the soundtrack.
Yes.
So yeah, I understand. I agree.
Oh yeah, and I can't believe this is the first time the Wiz has come up. We've got to talk about the Wiz in some form or way. It's so cool because I do think that the Wiz is such a big part of the lore of the Wizard of Oz now, that
Absolutely.
you can't
Mhm.
like not um have certain parts of the Wiz in here too. And I mean, of course, you know, I just think that this will continue to uplift the Wiz and its infamy. I mean, man, that's those songs I remember even more than I do the songs in the original Wizard of Oz.
Oh
Um,
yeah. But you know that voice doesn't have to be lifted up. It's lifted up on its own accord.
oh my
I
god,
mean, I don't. I think that it is very well known and and it has its own power. It was on Broadway for years before Wicked, and so I think that it is a powerhouse on its own. Hence, why they brought it back.
yeah,
You know, it was hard to. I think it was hard for them to keep the Wiz on Broadway because people wanted to see Stephanie Williams. They wanted to see certain characters, and those characters couldn't perform that for the rest of their lives.
yeah.
And so now they are able to. I love the fact that they brought it back. I think it was MC Light and several black stars that came together and brought that back to Broadway, which is a homage to itself. So no, I mean The Wiz is up there to me. It's even higher than this,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. I but yeah, so I'm sorry. I know that's not what you meant, but I don't think it has to be lifted up. This is trying to get to that level, in my opinion.
It definitely is. When I say lift it up, I just think that I love that in the zeitgeist, people are paying homage to the Wiz as they're talking about Wicked, and
Okay.
just the impact that it has in keeping the Wizard of Oz alive in our mindsets, because definitely not the movie with whatever that Franco brother was didn't do much, and then this other 70s movie about Oz didn't do much, but the Wiz did a lot for this particular story in this world. And isn't it funny, this is one of the things I saw out there, that Lena Horne technically is Glinda, so it's funny to think about that
Yeah,
version of the Horde, even in the concept of Wicked, you know?
yeah, but isn't the story Wicked kind of pulled out its own variation of the Wizard of Oz books,
Yes.
the
It's
original
like a
books?
fanfic version of what
Yeah,
truly
so
happened.
yeah, so I don't know that it really aligns with what the Wizard of Oz, the original books, were trying to imply.
No.
I didn't get that.
No, no, no.
So yeah, the Lena Horne Glendas, and then the Glenda from the original one with
Violin.
Judy Garland. I think that they were meant to be what they look like they were be. But what I love, of course, I love about the Wiz, it's showing it from more diversity. So, or really, it was an extreme of diversity. So I just, of course, it's just a different vision of what good is. But Lena Horne is just the epitome of beauty and good, and so yeah, she was perfect for that role.
Truly, truly was. I kind of
Mhm.
wish we had, like, we need to do some, so maybe for a part two, we should do like a ranking of all the songs of every Wizard of Oz like version out there, and see like
Mhm.
what takes the top one, because believe in yourself, okay? Believe in yourself. That is, if you need to be encouraged, you just, that should be a gospel song, honestly. It's so powerful. But I mean, that takes us, I feel ready to talk about Defying Gravity, man, because I
Oh
really
yeah.
want to take this to just one of the most inspirational songs. I think about who oh, I think about songs that just bring me uplift in musicals. I have a whole show tunes playlist on Spotify. I'll link that in the description too.
Mhm.
But I think about musicals that give me uplift. Sorry, songs. Don't Rain on My Parade is definitely up there.
Oh yeah, funny girl. Oh my gosh, yes. You
Oh,
you kind of clued me into that when I used to hear you play it in here in your room. I was like, what is she playing in there? And then when I listened to it, I was like, oh my gosh, I understand why that song is so important to her. So no, you're right. That song is very powerful.
so
Yeah.
great, so much fanfare, so much.
Mhm.
But it's very up. And then another what I'll call out here is I Have Confidence from Sound Music, and that also gives me confidence too. But man, Defying Gravity, you want to be uplifted, you listen to Defying Gravity, and you listen to Cynthia's version. I don't like to pit a lot of versions against each other, because I love Adina Menzel's version of Defying Gravity, but it's
Mhm.
very hard. It's very, very, very hard to like put nostalgia, like, outweigh the nostalgia of something, because I've listened to Defying Gravity for all these years from her voice. But Cynthia's version has had this effect on me that is very similar to Hallie's Halle Bailey's version of Part of Your World had on me for The Little Mermaid. I have always, not the movie version, the Broadway version of Part of Your World is up there. Okay. And especially because in the movie version, um, she decides to pull back her voice during Part of Your World when what's the line? Um it's a certain part where she decides to pull back, but the Broadway version decides to go full out. I'm gonna pull it up when before we end this conversation, just so you can hear it. But I saw a similarity in Cynthia. Cynthia and Hallie in their versions of these renditions give this gospel esque power to these songs that just hit a different part of my soul. And I don't know, it's just because we grew up in those spaces, grew up on the church and just gospel singing, but they just take it there that I don't quite hear in other versions. But what are your thoughts to Defying Gravity?
Okay, so first of all, I think the reason why you can connect to those is because they both were done by Black women.
Yes.
You are a Black woman,
Yes.
and I think when they sing those songs, we are hearing layers that others aren't hearing.
You're right.
They are really seeing those singing those songs from their guts of what their experiences are.
Yes.
Like I'm not like a powerhouse singer like Cynthia, but when I am I love to sing, you know that. And when I was in, I loved being in choir. I loved being in the church choirs. And when I would sing the gospel songs or any song that I was singing, even when I was singing the songs from Peter Pan, it's like you're singing it from your own perspective of how that song affects you.
Yes.
And when Cynthia's talking about when she was singing that song, John Chu, the first time she sang it, he says, "Okay, I need you to sing it from your perspective." And she's like, "Well, I think she thought she was." But he's like, "I need you to reach deep within and sing that song from how you feel those words connect with you." And that's the version you got from that. She said it took her 3 times to do that, to really get her version of how that song connected with her guts. So that's why you feel that way from those songs. You can identify. We all can identify. There's a struggle there. And we have a different struggle than Idina Menzel. We do. We all see that struggle differently.
We
Um,
do.
that struggle between good and bad, and how that affects us physically, mentally. So that's why it's the same thing with when Cynthia Erivo sang "I'm Here" in The Color Purple.
Mm.
By that differently. That's why that song, she will always be identified with that song. She actually said that that song was harder for her to sing than
Wow.
Defying Gravity.
I didn't
So
know that.
yeah, I mean, she can feel it differently. And I think that's why she had to find deep within, how does this song speak to me? Defying Gravity, I'm speaking about. How does this song speak to me? And she had to connect that with her life, her makeup. And that's where you are feeling that, because I was looking over at you when they sang that song and you just burst into tears. And I was like, why are you crying, baby? Why are you upset? What's happened? And not that that song wouldn't affect me, but you're in a different stage in your life than I am. I am feeling, what did you say? I'm in my wisdom years.
Yes.
I am feeling like I am defying gravity. I am here. I'm here. I feel great. I'm figuring, I know I've been through that whole journey of the power years as you speak to it. So I'm receiving information differently from you. So I get that. So I know that was long-winded, but I
No,
wanted to.
you really you hit it. And thank you for just saying it plainly. It is because they're black.
Mhm.
Um, just to pull back to Hallie and to the Broadway version, which was sung by a white woman, but um, it's the part where it's when's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that short up above? In the movie, she sings that softly. Would I love to explore the short up above? But then Hallie sings it with full might. Like, wouldn't I love this? Like, I need to explore this. I'm wishing this with every bone in my body. And there is you're so right. There is a want and a need and a hunger there, in both the part of your world that Hallie sings and in the Defying Gravity that Cynthia sings. You saw me burst out into tears or just just crying a lot because I really identified with Alpha Bud throughout the movie. It felt very poignant to how I personally have been feeling for at least the last 2 years, and sometimes just feeling like a scapegoat in certain situations. This resides back to just how I feel for my numerology, 12-3 for all those that follow it. For those who follow tarot, this relates to the Hangman tarot card. And it's just like this feeling of, if things are going wrong in a friendship or in a relational dynamic, like
Mhm.
kind of feeling scapegoated. And Elphaba was the hugest scapegoat of this entire movie. I mean, it's just that was her freaking story the entire
Mhm.
time. And I saw this song in a new way of her defying society's expectations of her. And like taking that pressure off of herself. Like I think that that's a pressure that I often put on myself, that I often project onto myself, that others are putting on to
Mhm.
me. And the fact that she had gone through this confidence journey and even pushed past like that pain. I know she's still probably in the process of processing it all, but the pain of even being let down by her mentor, then
Mhm.
being let down by her friend, like it
Mhm.
just was like letdown after letdown after letdown, and I couldn't, I wouldn't blame her if she just hold up and let herself go down, but to see her fly and to see like her saying all the words of defying gravity and just like the depth that she was singing of I don't know, just it just the runs, how she sings it, and then just the way that I've seen people cut together all of the versions of how people sing that last that last note, in the way she sings that note, man, it she added just enough layers. You know how Granddaddy used to say, "We love that Whitney Houston. She doesn't do too much. She just sang the song." I don't think that Cynthia did too much, but she sang that song. Okay,
Absolutely. Yes.
gave it. She
Yeah.
just
It gave the feeling it needed to have for people to connect with it. Yes.
exactly. It
Mhm.
told, it told so much. And when she's, I think they just had such a great way of pausing. They he talks about that in one of his interviews, how they added silence after Galinda made her decision to not go with Elphaba, because they needed the audience to feel the emptiness there, the space that was being created between them. And I feel like just their use of sound, again, telling that story through the song, but giving their own rendition, they paid so much homage. It just was like, I see it. I saw what they were doing. I love the layers on of the people. Again, we hear callbacks to No One Mourns the Wicked, even at the end of Defying Gravity. Everyone deserves the chance to fly. That's when I really lost it, because it's like, yeah, everyone does deserve the chance to feel freedom, to feel free
Mhm.
from all of these pressures, all of this weight, all of this bigotry, all of the prejudice, just to be freaking free. It
Mhm.
just there's we all, it's like we all know it, but I just felt like it had to be said, and it did. It brought me a lot of emotions, just like of my own personal life, and just needing to just again go back into your own safety circle and be free even within yourself, even if you feel like others aren't providing that freedom or aren't seeing you the way that you want to be seen.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely. No, great content. Great conversation, Sydney.
for sure.
Thank you for bringing in the music. You know I love my music.
Of course, it's a musical, and we both. Yes, you gave me. Thank you for giving me the love of stories, the love of music. I say it all the time. You were my first culture, so I this reson it will always resonate very deeply for me. These very fantastic pieces of art, and just to end off, I just great job to the producers of Wicked. Y'all
Mhm.
did fantastic. I hate remakes, but this one, and I think that it's different when it comes to musicals or some things that because I don't think Wicked has ever gotten. It's never. This is actually not a remake. This is their first.
It's not a remake. It's a musical transition to film. It's not
Yeah,
a remake. Yeah.
yeah. It was a book to musical, musical to film. So yeah, I take it back. But like the whole, this is what paying homage to a story looks like. We don't need any more movies, live action, animation, live action. We need this, and they did very well. So, any last thoughts toward Wicked, Ma?
I also want to just thank it's John Chu, right, as the director. All of the characters, he put so much care into this movie. He was the leader, and he gathered all the right people. The costume designer is an African American man who just did an incredible job with all of the costumes. He has a mixture of women, men, of different diversities. It just, different cultures that just brought this beautiful, layered story to another level. And I thank him for doing that and taking good care of Cynthia and Ariana and making sure that they shined in the way they could.
Yeah,
He made sure that he had all the right people, all the right layers, even down to the sets. I'm
yeah,
just grateful that they put this in the right hands. I kind of did some history, some educating myself on the transition from this being a musical to film. And they started this journey like back in early 2000s or 2010, I
mhm.
think. And it was supposed to be a different director. Universal bought the rights to this years ago, and they couldn't quite figure out how they wanted to do it. And then they made a decision to choose John, and he took it, and just he did it. It was beautiful. And it's so much so that I'm going to see it again. I really want to make sure that your dad sees this. I'm like, you have to see it. He's so sick of me talking about it. You got to see the movie, baby. And then I'm so excited to see part two because I don't know the whole story. And this is also going to help me go see Wicked. I want to still go see it on Broadway.
You should. You
Yeah.
should, because it's fun to see the practical sets, and it's fun to see. It's going to be fun when you see, oh, that's why they decided to do that scene that way, and
Mhm.
yeah, especially when it comes to Defying Gravity. So I Paul Tazwell, just wanted to say that's the
The
costume
costume
designer.
designer, amazing. And to hear him talk about all of his concepts behind it, even down to Fiero's costume for Dancing for Life,
Yeah.
all the details. When you go back, look at the details of his outfit. I was like, wow. It was just so, the regalness of it and what he had a purpose behind every move he made with every costume. And I was just so, I hope he gets recognized for that because it was really beautiful.
Yeah, he did well. I didn't realize he was the same costume designer for the newest West Side Story,
I didn't
which
realize that either. Okay. I didn't know that.
he did
Mhm.
that, and he did some other, now I gotta look it up. He did some other very important, costume design, not for musicals, but just in general. But I just think that he is incredible. I love that he's Black. We're rooting for all people that are Black, but he really makes us proud. So,
Mhm.
yeah, really, really cool stuff. And I hope he does get an Oscar for his costume design because Galinda, she was looking fly.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, those dresses. When she did the popular
Yeah.
songs, it was one of my favorites. But the dresses that they wear for the with media, with the dress that she wears onto Jimmy Fallon's show is absolutely
She
exquisite.
threw it. I was
When
like,
she threw it the way it just landed, she's just like a queen. She was the same way that she did it in the movie. It was just so beautiful. So no, she's a beautiful girl anyway. But I just thought that her costumes were incredible. But all the work they went into Cynthia's costumes and her role, everything had purpose.
yeah,
I
shout out to Microbraids.
he was so intentional. But then Cynthia was very intentional too on how she wanted her character to be presented. And I'm so happy that John Chu gave her that ability and that what's the word, freedom of being able to add those nuances to who she wanted Alphabet to be. because
Yeah, I
you
love
know
that.
she's the one who asked for the micro braids and the
Yeah, and the long nails.
long and decorated the way they were, and the freckles on her face. These are things that she thought would represent us as Black women, you know, because she, even though she's green, she still represents us. So yeah, it was
Hell
beautiful.
yeah. As we wrap things up, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Hotter Net channel if you like all of the discussions that we've had today. We want to hear all of your thoughts on Wicked. And if you haven't seen the actual musical like Mom, what are your predictions about how it will end? I mean, even if you have seen it, I do think that they're going to give us more just because there's only one act left. They cover two acts in this movie, so I'm like, what else are y'all gonna say? I do think we're gonna go even further into the Wizard of Oz territory in the next movie. So yeah, please, would love to hear your predictions in the comments below. Make sure you stay tuned for what's happening next on HeartNet. And yeah, thanks for recapping this adventure. Until next time, please stay nerdy. Bye.
Right.